We are here today because we are celebrating Miss Vanessa Miller's 50th book. I am one of her, how you say, avid readers because I've read at least 10 of her books. And she came today on my show, Amplified Exposure, because she likes me. So she is here today to talk about her 50th book anniversary of writing books, so forth and so on. So, Vanessa, let's start off with some questions. I do it like Larry King style. I don't have nothing written down. We just flow.
Let's just talk.
We just flow. So your audience is out there. Oh, we got questions already.
Questions. Well, I told them. I said I know Teresa said that people will type in questions. So go ahead and put in questions. See, I was working it for you.
Yeah, you got it going on over here. So tell the audience, when did you write your first book?
My first book was Former Rain, and it came out in 2003. May of 2003, I self-published it. It actually came out twice. So May of 2003, I self-published it, and then a publishing house picked up the Rain series, so it came out again. And I want to say that might have been in 2006 when it came out again. I always remember when it first came out, but you're gonna have to check the stats for when it was re-released. But yeah, that was Former Rain, and it wasn't. I will tell you, I actually wrote Former Rain 7 years before it actually released in 2003. So it was a whole process. But after that time, I have been able to write books within just a few months. But that first book was a 7-year process.
Oh, wow. Wow. So let me show you something. Because I told you I read all your books.
Let me see what you. Yes, you have one of the Former Rain covers. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I love that cover. Rainstorm, yes.
And then wait a minute. I told you I got about 10 of them. I could go on and on and
Through the Storm is actually my favorite in the Rain series because it has the prayer journey in it.
So when I first started writing, someone told me that I asked, because I wanted to model after a Christian fiction author, and someone told me you need to get Vanessa Miller's books. Because yes, so you are the first Christian fiction author that I started to read your stories, and then I got into Victoria and Kimberla, but you were the very first one when it came to Christian fiction. I think I read Victoria when I was younger, but it wasn't a Christian fiction book. But I want you to know that I modeled my writing after you.
Because I so appreciate hearing that. I never would have known. Now, let me ask you this. I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but since you said that, because people would always ask me, well, who do you think you write like? I could never answer that because I feel like I write like me. Who do you think, after all these years of, okay, they told you to start with reading this person or that person, who do you think you write like now that you've done that?
You. You think I'm gonna say some other name on your 50 book anniversary? Really?
I thought you were gonna say you write like you.
No, I write like you. So I struggle with characterization when I'm writing about characters because I'll go over the top with a character, right? So I was told to really like take your books chapter by chapter to see actually how you write. So I had to do an outline of I started with Rainstorm. I didn't start with Former Rain.
Oh wow.
And so I had to
Rainstorm, because Rainstorm, there's really a lot of drama in there.
Yes. And I was like, wait a minute, what in the world is going on here? And since most of my stuff, even though it's in the Christian fiction category, it's like really dramatic and it's a lot of drama that goes on. But when I saw that you were writing like that too, I was like, okay, I don't feel so bad about these people about to write. So,
Right.
So yeah, especially when I was reading the story about the boyfriend who was a drug dealer, but he ended up trying to fight the girlfriend because she was
Mhm.
pregnant, and like I got lost in that story like with the first couple of chapters.
Right. And everybody doesn't have that ministry, because I believe, see, I write about, really bad people usually, and then because what I want to show, and I say, my name is Vanessa. It means butterfly. So I'm writing about the caterpillars of the world, and then I show you how they turn into this beautiful butterfly when they finally are able to take their wings and fly. And so, but I think a lot of people can't take that. You really have to be able to turn that character around. And I believe that's ministry. And so,
Right,
but I
right.
will tell you, my very first editor, she told me, she said, you might as well have these people cussing. They doing everything else. I was like, well, okay, I don't want to have them cussing. So I did stuff, and I don't even do it anymore because I really thought that doesn't make sense. I would put like gibberish words in there to show that the person was cursing. But I'm like, I believe as you develop as a writer, I can show other ways to kind of show you the person is angry. And I'm like, yeah, they in there cussing.
Right.
I'm just, I actually stopped cursing. It's a really funny story. When I believe I was 19 years old, and it was really before I didn't give my life to the Lord until I was 26. But this is how God, and this is why I was like, well, no, I can't do that, because that was something God delivered me from before He actually totally delivered me, if that makes any sense. And I don't know, a lot of people can't understand that. That's also why I write about characters the way I do, because I know the way God saved me. And so it was just one day I just stopped, and I actually stopped because I had my nephew. He was in the house cursing, and he was little boy. My mama was like, "He got that from you," and I said, "Oh, that's terrible." I said, I felt so bad. I said, I never wanted to influence anybody like that again in life, just to have them do something terrible. And this is, I was 19 years old. And 19-year-olds, they wouldn't care. But I just it was God showing me where He wanted me to be. And so it was at that time I began just praying about that. And so I remember I was in a fight, and the person was cussing me out, and I couldn't even curse them. I was the person that just needed to go ahead and give Jesus a try, because I was out there and couldn't do so. I could no longer do certain things that it was just funny. Funny. All these years, I still remember that stuff.
Miss Vanessa, I don't have that testimony.
We all have different testimonies. You know what I'm saying? God takes us different routes in different ways, but we all going to the same place. And as long as we get there, that's our job, is to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, I don't know if you remember our conversation, but your very first book lovers retreat. So before I go into that, let's tell the audience about the book lovers retreat first.
Of course. I love talking about another one of my babies. The Christian Book Lovers Retreat is a retreat that we do each year, and it is all about faith, fun, fellowship, and a whole lot of books. We bring Christian authors together with readers who love what we do, and we just get together and we all have a lot of fun. And fun is important to me in the retreat, because as I say, I just tried to explain to y'all, I was bad growing up. I knew God was calling me, and I kept going, no, I knew God was calling me, but I thought being a Christian was boring. And I said, I can't do that. I'm still young. And So when I got saved, I realized that I have more fun now that I am saved and I am a Christian than I ever had before I gave my life to the Lord. So it is important to me to bring fun into events that I do, because I want people to understand that Christians have fun. You know, we
Yeah.
are real people. We just people like you. We just happen to love the Lord.
Yes, yes. So your very first retreat,
Yes,
it was in Charlotte.
yes.
And here I was. I came and it was all these people, and I was very, very nervous. You know, I got bad nerves. I got bad nerves.
I
And,
didn't know.
and you had to critique my book before I turned it in to to actually be a part of the retreat.
Mhm.
And you said to me through email, you said, we need to talk about this. And I'm like, oh,
Was I nice? Please
we
tell
gonna
me I was nice.
you was very nice. Yeah, you was very nice. But when we got like face to face, you said, listen, I understand you writing Christian fiction, and you know this because you read that church life, and you said, you know, I see the drama, whatever. She said, but you said you gotta take those curse words out. She was like, you said, I keep saying she, you said those curse words probably need to go. And you said, I don't write curse words in my book. And I thought about that, and I was like, dang, you mean to tell me Natalia can't curse? She like the worst character. so so that made me become more creative, because now I have to figure out what she is going to say without actually saying the words. And I only had maybe about 5 of them in the entire
Yeah.
book. But then I went to Jacqueline Thomas because she was my mentor at the time. And
Mhm.
Vanessa said, I should take them curse words out my book. And she said, yeah, I think so too. so, so I never put another curse word in my book. And I'm telling you, it was like as soon as I took those curse words out,
Mhm.
it like into the Christian fiction world, because people in book clubs told me, they said, I'm glad that you did take those curse words out, because it's such a turnoff for a Christian fiction reader to come up on a curse word, even if it's like
Mhm.
minor. We'll stop reading the book altogether.
Right. Here's the thing: a lot of people, especially when we're self-publishing our book, we don't understand the genre, and nobody takes the time to tell us the genre. And so I try to help people understand the genre, because I've not only self-published, but I've also written for publishers, and so I know what some of the expectations are there, and I know that we want to keep going up higher. So to me, if you don't tell people, okay, what would stop you necessarily from going to the next level, to me it's like you just a crab in the barrel trying to keep people down instead of lifting them up to where they're supposed to be. And so I know that sometimes people may not take it all that well if I'm saying something, but I try to say it in love, and it's because I love you guys, and I want all of us to succeed. And I'm so glad for your success. You are doing so well, and praise God. See, I'm glad
Thank
I
you.
was
Well, what I did to make sure that people recognize that there were no more curse words, I changed the book cover, because when I first came out, brown, but it was pretty ugly anyway, the first book cover. But it was like that gave me so much encouragement to
Yeah,
write.
your book covers are really nice. They really are.
Oh, I had to change it because I wanted people to know that this is a different read from when you probably read it the first time in that cover. So, but yeah, all the curse words were eliminated and the book started soaring. And before I knew it, and I was like, one day I'm going to tell Vanessa how much she made a difference in my writing, because
Man.
I could have still been writing curse words, not understanding why my books didn't sell. But it was like as soon as I took it out, it skyrocketed. I
Yeah.
mean,
But because it's just not understanding the genre or the people who actually buy Christian fiction. So and some people may still be doing well even when they do certain things, but there are Christian fiction is different from other fiction, and it is, and I just believe that there's a certain type of reader who there are certain type of readers who want they still want to read about the church necessarily, but they don't necessarily need the ministry. But then there are Christian fiction readers who want to read about people, not necessarily about that church, but about real people who are Christians trying to walk this out every day. And they are the ones who will kind of jump. And that's me. I'm reading a book, and if I'm jumping, if there's constantly a cuss word in there, and then I will finally put it down, because it's like, I don't really want to do that with my free time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people, they'll put the book down immediately.
And that's not giving people a chance, because your stories are going to be really good, but they need to be able to get in there. I'm just glad that I was able to help and not hinder. So I'm
Oh, you helped a lot. I ain't gonna tell you how many thousands of books you helped me sell, but you helped a lot.
I like that.
Yes, I do appreciate
you are making my day, because let me tell you, because this is maybe my 50th book coming out, but we got people that's coming up behind us, and we want to make sure, and plus right now African American Christian fiction is struggling. And so that was one of the reasons why I started the Christian Book Lovers Retreat, because we want to introduce the people who are, especially even the newer authors coming up who are writing in this genre. We want to tell readers, here we are. We are here, and have people go out and purchase the books. And so we want to bring this genre right back to where it was even when I first started writing, and it can happen. And so we are praying, and we keep writing those books that people love, and I believe it's going to happen.
It is happening. It actually
yes, it is happening. You're yes,
it is happening. So, but you have this book after. Okay, so you started 2003.
Yes.
It hasn't even been 20 years.
No.
50 books?
Yes. Now the first couple of years when I was writing, I was only writing one book a year. So I wrote Former Rain. Like I told you, that was a 7-year process. It came out in 2003, and then Abundant Rain came out in 2004. Then we had Latter Rain. It came out in 2005. And then I got an agent. Her name is Natasha Kern, and I hope she gets a chance to watch this. Hi, Natasha, I love you. And so I told her, I said, I want to, and I was traveling so much trying to get the word out. So I'm not one of those authors that can write in the hotel rooms. Now I can these days, but before, when I was first starting, no, I'm tired. I've been out all day trying to sell books. I come in that room and I'm just laying it down. And so I could only write about one book a year. And so I told her, I said, my goal is I want to be able to write, a couple books a year. And so then we started working with publishers, and I was getting, then I began to get three books out a year, or 2 sometimes, and then 3 a year with publishers. And then when I was doing writing on my own, when I started then doing self-publishing again, then I would do like 4 a year. So that's how we ended up with
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So were you writing full time when you started doing 3 to 4 books?
Yes. By the time I've been writing full time since 2005. And when my first book came out, I was still working in corporate America. I was in human resources, and I was traveling, trying to get out. And I said, I really don't like corporate America. I worked so hard. I scratched my way trying to get to the top. I was earning good money. I was, in a really good position. And I was just like, it was so much backbiting. And they were always clawing after you. And I would always have to tell them, look, I've got this position because, the Lord just loves me. I can't explain it to you any other way than that. The Lord loves me. And guess what? I also come in here and do my work. Right. Instead of bothering you. And there were times I would actually be in tears. I would go into the bathroom at work and I would start praying for each one of my coworkers because it got to the point where I was just so angry. Because of all the stuff that they were doing to me. And then guess what the Lord did for me? Because of the fact that I didn't fight back with them. There would be times where they would come and basically tell me off. I'd be sitting there. One of them said, "Can I speak to you privately?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem." She and I were both supervisors of an area. This is before I moved over to human resources. So I'm like, okay, we're both supervisors of a team. She takes me into this conference room and begins to tell me all about myself. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And I just said, you know what? Hey, I haven't done anything to you. I don't know what's wrong with you, but people don't like to see your star shine in corporate America, especially when you this little brown girl and you're about the only little brown girl in those executive meetings. And and so that's how it goes. But the Lord delivered me from all of it. And I have not had to work or had to go back to corporate America since 2005. Now, it hasn't all been great years. I'm not going to say that. But hey,
that's
we
a blessing.
made it.
Yeah, that's a blessing. Yeah.
I just keep writing and I keep remembering you do not want to go back there.
You don't. I'm trying to get out of the school system, okay? And that all the projects that I got going on will eventually take me to a higher height.
Amen.
You want to eventually work for yourself. It's a good feeling to be an entrepreneur and do everything. You get up when you want to get up. You go to sleep when you want to go to sleep.
That's right.
You don't have anything to worry about. But I'm going to say this. If I would have known you 2005 when that woman came in that room, I wasn't saved then. So you would have called me for some backup because I would have handled her. Okay.
I know. Let me tell you, before salvation, I would have handled her too. And I had to sit there and just I really believe it was God just growing me up and getting me to a level where he needed me to be because God knew the journey that he had for me. And so I had to be able to take stuff that I didn't want to take and even stuff I didn't understand because I knew I wasn't doing anything to them. All I was doing was excelling at my job. And I thought that was a good thing because see, I was a single mom at that time with a daughter I needed to feed, I needed to take care of her, I needed to pay those bills. And so you're supposed to go in and you're supposed to, and I thought this is what you're supposed to do. But woo, those were some hard years. And so I enjoy just being in my little office, right? No, they nasty. They nasty on the job.
Well, your ladder was greater. That's all it was. Your ladder was.
Amen.
God blessed you tremendously because now here we are over a decade, and you're still writing, and you can do that, and sustaining you. You don't have to worry about income. So
no, I worry about income.
well, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to go back to that job.
Amen. Let's pray it stays that way. Nobody knows what tomorrow, holds. But I am thankful for all of these years that I have been able to do a job that I love and that I consider no drama. I mean, I love it. Even when I'm working with other authors, there's no drama like what I had to deal with. And so I love it. I love it.
So when you put your book lovers retreat together, is there a lot of chaos in the beginning, on the beginning end of it, or is it pretty smooth now?
Let me tell you, the Christian Book Lovers Retreat runs very smoothly. We we know what we're gonna do. We plan it all year long, and when we get to that retreat, we are just walking it out. And plus, what the way God did this for us, like the first year, the first year, I didn't even have souvenir booklets. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to have that. I had like an agenda, and and so then the next year, I put together a little souvenir packet, and it was crazy. I was using my printer, and I spent so much money on ink doing it the total wrong way. Then Vanessa Riley came on board on on our board, and she was like, "No, Vanessa, you can get these printed." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And now we get beautiful souvenir booklets, and Rhonda McKnight came on board early on. When all I did was I sent out like on my readers group, and I said, I'm thinking about doing a retreat, because what had actually happened was I broke my ankle. In 2015, a car hit me head on. I'm still thankful just to be here. And I broke my ankle, and so I couldn't travel. And I was kind of down about that, because that was what I did. I would travel and go meet with readers and everything. And I was saying that to my daughter one day, and she said, "Why don't you just bring them here?" And I can do that. And like, and so, and then I kept going, yeah, I can do that. And so I went and I said, I'm thinking about doing this thing called the Christian Book Lovers Retreat. And would you guys come? And so as soon as I put it out, Rhonda, me and my readers, we were planning the retreat. And Rhonda was like, Vanessa, I want to help. And then Jacqueline Thomas, she said, yeah, we want to help too. And so it was built like that. I didn't even have a website for it. Rhonda put the website together for me. And it was just out of love and out of wanting, if we were going to do something, we wanted to do it right for the people. And so I believe the first year was awesome. I think we struggled the second year, because then we had growing pains. So, a lot more people came the second year, and we were like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, so now we have to do this. And we were in a smaller place. And so we got a bigger place. And then we were able to compartmentalize different programs, and I love it. I think we have the best team, and I'd like to shout them out if that's okay. So we have Angela Anderson. I have a lot of the stuff on our CBLR group page, but she also is just our liaison for all of the readers who come. We have Kenyatta Ingram, who does our book selling, and she helps the authors when they get to the retreat. Rhonda McKnight is our author liaison. And we have, Vanessa Riley. She does the website now, and she does a beautiful job with the website. And then she also is the one who handles all the craft projects, because I can't think of that type of stuff.
Yes, the craft projects are beautiful.
People are just like, yes, because one of the things that is dear to my heart, and one of the things that I wanted to make sure of, is that when people come to the retreat, we do things. I always want them to be able to take something back home with them, so that they have some type of memory from the retreat. And it's a project that they did themselves. Like we've done paint parties, different. Last year it was a hat painting. This year it's going to be a craft mosaic project, and so people will be doing it from their homes, because this year, of course, is going to be virtual.
Right. Don't forget to give Jacqueline Thomas a shout out.
Jacqueline Thomas, yes, was on our board. She's not on the board this year, but she'll be back. Don't worry.
Okay.
She'll be back.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so we got your spot. You'll be back.
Okay.
My husband is also on the board, because he handles Man Cave Straight Talk, and his name, of course, is David Pierce. And so that rounds up the whole board, and we get in there, and we have tons of volunteers. The people who come to the Christian Book Lovers Retreat are some of the best people in the world. And I tell people that all the time. And I say, you can't change my mind and you can't convince me of anything different. And what they do is we put it when we recognize, wait a minute, there is a lot to this. And we said, okay, wait a minute, we do need volunteers, because my thing is I didn't want people to have to do anything when they came. But we said, okay, an hour or two of volunteering, and then that makes everything run smoothly. I mean, the people started signing up. They come and then they try to work extra hours. And I'm like, no, you need to go and enjoy the retreat.
Because they enjoy it. I mean, it's really enjoyable. It is really fun. Never, ever, 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 ever think that we don't have fun, because we have a ball when we're there. And I know a lot of times I'm incognito because I have family in Charlotte. So I go back and forth. And then I'll go see my family, and then I'll come. And they're like, "Where's Teresa?" And I'm like, "I'll be back because I'm coming to that."
You gotta make sure it all works out.
Right. So I've enjoyed myself, and I've been blessed to be a part of it since the first year that you put it in place. So I've been there every year.
And I thank you for that.
The readers, yes. And there's a lot of readers that come out. If you're a Christian fiction reader and you have not been to the retreat, let's put that out there right now. You need to get to that retreat.
That's right.
COVID is here, but when COVID clears up, we need you there, because I'm telling you, it's phenomenal.
And the website address is www.christianbookloversretreat.com. Go check us out. You'll be able to see all of our pictures. You can register for the virtual, or you can also register for the in-person retreat, which will be in 2021. And the virtual is October the 22nd through the 24th, 2020. The in-person is June the 24th through the 27th, 2021. We hope to see you there.
Awesome. See how much she advertised? She got that stuff down packed. That was her speech.
I'm always selling. I told you, I gotta always be selling.
That was good. So, all right, 50 books. So the 50th book is being released tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes. Forever. I got the screen. Forever. It releases tomorrow, and it will actually be in your Kindle tonight, midnight. So if you start reading tonight, go ahead and put that review in first thing in the morning. I love this book, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a romance. And normally my favorite books that I write are the ones that are like how I wrote with Former Rain or the Family Business series. Those are drama filled, or women's fiction. Women's fiction is a genre that I really love. I've only been able to write 2 so far, but that's my goal, is to write more women's fiction, because I really believe that you can just really develop a character so strongly with women's fiction. This is romance. So typically I'll be like, well, it's just a romance, but no. Jewel Dawson spoke to me so strongly when I was writing her story. She is going to pop on that page, and then from the time she pops on that page, you are going to get to know her in a way you have never really gotten to know other characters of my romance. Because I think this is the best romance story I have written, not just because of the romance, but also because of the development of this character. Wow. I love it. And I hope that you guys love it as well. And please, please, please write a review.
Well, I have to get it, because I've learned a lot from reading your book. So I definitely, if she's that developed, look, I need to study her, because
and her development surprises you. So it's something that sneaks up on you. And I did it deliberately because I didn't want. I felt like. At this point, at 50 books, I'm now trying to redevelop my writing and make it come a different way. And so I felt like in some books, you know how when you're reading something and it's like you can tell what's getting ready to happen because the author keeps on, kind of. So what I tried to do was to smooth it out. And so when it happens and her development begins, it's like it takes you like, oh, that's what's going on with her. Not like it was like, I already know what's, no. I don't believe the reader is gonna know what's going on at first.
Those are the best. Those are the best.
Those are the best. And I really believe that's why people are gonna love Forever. They're gonna love Jackson too. I mean, he's a good hero in this story too. But they are going to love Jewel and Jackson's story, and they're gonna love it because of the development and how these two characters developed into not only their forever kind of love, but their understanding of God's forever grace in our life.
Okay. Will this be a series as well?
Yes, it is. It's called the Let's Stay Together series. And what's going on is there are three sisters in this series. And you have Jewel, Kyla, and you have Serena. And their parents have been married for 35 years. Their grandparents have been married for about 57 years. Their great grandparents were married forever. I want to say about right until they died, 1 week of each other, because they've been married so long. So what is important to the Dawson sisters is that they continue this legacy of staying together. So they want to make sure that the men that they marry also have that type of mindset that, we are in this to the end. We stick and we stay. And so Jewel at the beginning, this is a romance that flips on its head, because at the very beginning, these characters are in love. He asked her to marry him at the very beginning. And then he gives her a prenup. And she says, okay, you're not really in this for the long haul. You are already thinking about the end before we even begin. So she has a very big problem with that. You'll have to read Forever to see how they solve that issue.
Oh, it sounds so good. That sounds like a soap opera. Like, wait a minute. You can't just leave us right there. Wait.
I can't tell you the whole story.
Oh my goodness.
Now, here's what gets me. I spend months writing a book, and my readers, within a few hours of me releasing it, they'll be telling me about the book. And I'm like, how you finished that book that quick?
Oh yeah, because when you get drawn in, like, I like to read, but if the story doesn't capture me with like the first 2 chapters, I put it down and come back to it. But with your books, like, I read this series within a matter of days, and I don't normally read that fast. So yes, you want something that is going to grasp the reader and keep them engulfed in that story. And that's what you do with your writing.
Amen.
I know you know this. I know you.
I try my best. That's my goal, is to grab that reader. And I don't know. I really believe that it is a gift that God gave me. I can't ever really take credit for it, because I just believe that this is where I was always meant to be. And it is because this is where God wanted me to minister to. I don't know which people he has out there that is supposed to get a greater understanding of his love, his grace, his awesomeness from reading one of my books, but he knows. And I believe that God directs them to my books. And so I just keep trying to do what I believe I've been called to do. And so that's what every book, I want to touch the reader's heart. I want to shake you up. Yeah, you get ready to read about some jacked up characters, but when you see what God is about to do for them, you will be able to say, wait a minute, there go I. If you are kind of like that, then you'll be like, wait a minute, then God can do this for me too. I remember years ago, I was standing at my church. I was just standing. It was right after service, and Former Rain and Abundant Rain had been out right then. And I used to live in Ohio, and so I'm not gonna kind of say much more because I don't want people to be trying to guess who this was. But he had been a drug dealer. And so, of course, Former Rain was about one of my favorite characters, Isaac, and he was a big time drug dealer. And so
he was a mess.
Yeah, a true mess. But God, what God was able to do for him. So this guy walked up to me, and I had known him, and so I knew what he was into. I knew, what he did, and a lot of times, so he had come to church that Sunday. And he came over to me and he said, Vanessa, I wanted to tell you something. And I didn't think guys would be. When I wrote the series, I didn't know guys would then start reading it. But men read my books because of the Rain series. I believe because of Isaac. And so I want you to know I read your book. And I said, oh, did you? And he was like, yeah. He said, he said it helped. He said, I'm here because I read that book. And so that's God right there. That's what we are called to do. And like I said, I don't believe every Christian writer has to write the way we write, where they have to take such characters that are, such menaces of society and then bring them to where they have no choice but to receive God's grace. But I believe that for the ones of us who are called to do that, God will make sure that book reaches those people that he has been after. Because, God is pulling on us, but it is still a choice. We have to make this choice to say, yes, I will come. I will serve you. I remember when I was sitting in the church, and this is the day I fell on my knees and I gave my life to the Lord. And my pastor at that time, he was standing at the pulpit, and he basically, was telling the congregation, just don't come up to this. Basically, don't come up to here if you're not, if you're not for sure, don't play this game. Because, he basically, and now I can't get the exact words, but it was basically like, there is a cost to this. Right. There is, and it was that day that I was ready for that cost. I was willing to do whatever it took. And I remember I went down to the aisle, but I've always been private. And so even though I went down to the aisle and I was crying and I gave my life to the Lord right there, I then immediately went into the bathroom. They had a little small bathroom, and I didn't even care. Normally I'm like looking, I'm like, I don't want to touch nothing, but I didn't care at that moment. I got on my knees in that bathroom because this was personal between me and God. And I said, Lord, I will serve you. Show me how. And I remember that moment from that day to this. And I knew at that time that I was a writer, but I actually gave up writing after I gave my life to the Lord, because I wanted to write smut. And so I was bad. so
I wasn't expecting you to say that though.
And so Jackie Collins had been one of my favorite authors at that time. And I read a book, and I wasn't even supposed to have this book. I was a teenager, and I put the book I had a little binder to cover it up. It was called Chances. I fell in love with that gangster named Gino. And I was like, oh, I'm going to write stories like that. And so that's all I wanted to write. I wanted to write just some straight gangster, straight smut. And so I said, when I got saved, I said, well, I can't write anymore. But guess what? It was fine with me. And that's what I think God does for us. He wants to see if we're willing to give something up for him. And then he turns around and gives it right back. Because the funny thing is, I was going around church going, because they were at that time they were talking about your ministry. And I was going, I wonder what my ministry is.
Writing is your ministry.
I didn't know it. And people might not believe something like that as they read my books, but I did not know it. And I kept going. So I went back to college. I got my degree, and I was just like, well, what's my ministry? And so it was, it took a friend at work, me and him. He had no idea that I used to write. He and I used to love to read books, and I stopped reading fiction altogether because I thought, oh, I can't read stuff like that. And so I was like so wrapped tight, but God loosened me.
Loosened you up.
Like, it's not all that. It's not that deep. And so, but I didn't know that Christian fiction even existed. He put a book on my desk, and it was by Frank Peretti, This Present Darkness. And so, and I still believe today it was no mistake that particular book was put on my desk. Like you're saying, they told you to read one of my books. I believe it was no mistake that I read This Present Darkness, because This Present Darkness was dealt with good and evil. It was angels and demons. And as you see, when I did my first series, I will write about the demonic forces that try to come against us, because I don't think people understand that. And so it was like, when I read that, I said, I could write something like this. And it was like my eyes were open. And from that moment on, nobody could tell me that I could not write. And I knew right then that I was destined to be a writer. And it was something I had totally given up, because I was like, well, you can't be a Christian and write smut.
Well, you twisted around a little bit. Because Isaac is Isaac. Yeah. So you twisted around a little bit to where you saw where he was in the rough stage and how God changed him. So,
and that's what I was able to do, and and when I was writing it, I didn't know if it would be acceptable, because I was like, wait a minute, why am I writing about characters like this? I was like, but I felt that story, and what it is that God. This is how funny it is with God. The same type of characters I was wanting to write about, I ended up writing about them, but I ended up showing how God is able to come in the midst of that, because I didn't have the whole second part of that story until I gave my life to God. I didn't understand that, it doesn't matter how much we've done, how far we've gone, we are not too far to receive the grace of God. And once God gave me that grace, I was then able to write about it in my stories and bring along those type of people who I feel like that were like me,
right,
who had messed up in life, who thought, okay, this will never work for me. I've done too much. I've just no. And then God comes along one day and he says, yes.
Yeah. Amen. I'm gonna check and see if we got some questions. That is an awesome testimony. Look, I'm a fan for life, so don't even get me started. Okay, so let's see. Let me concentrate. See, it's hard when you interview people that right? So
I'm sorry. I'm just so happy I'm here to celebrate my 50th book, and I forgot we had questions. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And you have the excitement in your voice. It's like 50 books later, you still have this bubbly spirit about writing, and that is so encouraging. That is so encouraging. So we have one person that said 50 books, whoop, whoop. They said hey to both of us. Let's see. Someone said that they were talking about me. I ain't playing. No, I wasn't playing. I'll whoop somebody up for you back then. I sure would. Let's see. Someone agreed on the comment about you sure do, Teresa B. Howell. I guess the fact that I have modeled my writing after your books. Amen. Another person said, I don't want that in my spirit. So that was talking about when we were talking about curse words. Books, but no official questions yet, just a lot of comments. So
I wonder if there were any questions that came over to my Vanessa Miller reader page. Let's
check it out and see. Let's see
here.
Yeah. let's look at it and see if there's anything out there on
Because
your.
I shared it over there. So let's see if someone put a
Okay.
question in. Um, I told you about my computer is taking forever, so I'll just have to go over and answer those questions later because it's not coming up. But hey,
I can look at it for you. Hold on.
okay.
I can pull up your page.
But I thank you very much for having me on tonight. This has been so much fun. And then you surprised me with what you said. I did not know that
I
you.
see. You never know. Someone was telling me a story one time about a guy who had met. When he was a little boy, he met someone that was his age, and he had a whole bunch of books in his hand.
Mhm.
Other little boy said, "Well, let me help you. Let me carry those books." And so they became best friends. Well, when the guy who was carrying the books got married, got up and he said, so and so, let's say his name was Stephen. Stephen, what he doesn't know is that day that he helped me with my books, I was actually dumping my out, bringing all my books home because I was going to go commit suicide. And he didn't even know
Mm.
he is the reason why I'm here today and why I'm able to celebrate
Woo.
marriage and life or whatever. So you never know what impact you have on people. So, and they were friends all those years, but he never
Mm.
told him until his wedding day that
Mm.
my life. So, when you get an opportunity to tell somebody, you got to tell it. Like,
You got it. Woo. That
I
almost brought tears to my eyes right there. That right there is powerful. Woo.
It is powerful. So, I mean, imagine the impact that you make on people that you don't even know about because they haven't had that opportunity to tell you. So they say, give you your roses while you're here.
Amen.
Have you on my show? I gave you the roses. I gave you my testimony.
And you got those thousands of book sales. Hey.
Man, if you knew how many thousands of book sales I got after I took them. Oh my goodness, it's astronomical.
Well, and the play helped as well because
Yes,
that
the
that
play,
that gets you more notoriety. I got to
play did help.
tongue twisted.
Yeah,
People
the play did help.
know that your books are out there, so that helps as well.
But Vanessa, I'm trying to tell you, like the first 10,000 was because I took them curse words out. Like I don't think you realize the impact. So you keep doing what you do, and you keep inspiring people like me, and
Amen.
continue to bless you.
Amen.
He's going to continue to bless you. So I am so proud of you, and I am so happy that you are on your 50th book celebration. And I am especially honored that you celebrated it with me. I get to have this interview that I can look at 60 million times and say the person that I enjoyed her books all these years. Got about 8 more in the room. The person that I celebrated her books all these years came on my show before her 50th book was released.
Yes.
For those of you that are out there, if you don't know about Miss Vanessa Williams, no, wrong person, Vanessa Miller. If you don't know about Vanessa Miller, please go to Amazon or wherever books are sold. She has some wonderful books. She's on book 50, y'all. She got a lot out there. Go ahead and leave a review. Check her out. Make sure that you purchase Forever, which is coming out tomorrow. I always get about 300 to 400 people looking at these the first while it's live.
Right.
So 300 to 400 people that are out there, I need you to go buy her book. And then for those that carry on and you watch it days later, I need you to go buy her book.
That's
so
right.
if you don't buy her book tomorrow, I need you to buy her book Thursday and Friday too, because it's going to be phenomenal.
And you can get it now on Kindle, and the paperback is available tonight as well. And so go get it. It's available on Kindle, and don't forget to leave a review. I want to read all those reviews. So thank you very much. Happy 50th.
Yes, happy 50. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. I appreciate you so much, Miss Miller Pierce. And I'm going to go ahead and end the show and let people know that overcomers never quit and quitters never overcome.
Amen.
So you keep writing, keep
Yes.
shining. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.